All right, well, welcome to the Online Business Launchpad. Today, we've got Nick Abregu and Aaliyah Steglinski with us. We had been experimenting with taking our live online business liftoff program online, and we had wanted to offer our online students the same opportunity to learn how to speak to the camera so that they can create really powerful videos for their websites. So I asked Nick if he could put together a short course for us on how to use your phone, just your bog standard phone, to create professional videos you can be proud of. And both Nick and Aaliyah brought their skills and expertise to the table, and they really delivered. And a lot of people I know, especially people who come into our program, find the thought of being on video terrifying. So I'd love to ask you both, from your different perspectives, what would be one or two tips that you could give people who are thinking about getting started with video as a way of marketing their business that they could use to do themselves that would help them get started, with video?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, it took me personally, my experience, years to become comfortable in front of camera. I do come from a performance-based background, so I was performing from the age of 5 on the stage, no problem. But as we know, as children, we have no fear. We grow up, as children, we believe we're enough. When we're hungry, we just ask for food. We live in the moment. But as time goes by, things change, and we get criticism. We have to, learn to deal with or understand the various challenges in life and feedback and fears that can come into play. And so it's a challenge for anyone, I think, to be in front of camera, because we have the self-critic, we have fears and beliefs that we develop over the years, and it's completely natural to have that. And so from my personal background, I've had to overcome that, because the more I was able to discern what was going on in my head, I was able to acknowledge it and turn that around, and then naturally feel better on camera, because there's no point looking like you've got the right makeup and appearance and the right content if you don't feel good on camera. You're not delivering it with the right intention. People can feel that. So the most important thing is to understand it does take time to understand yourself, and that it is possible to feel so much more confident on camera. It is a mindset thing.
So if people are able to identify the self-critic, that voice in their head, and start to address that, would be a good way of getting started.
Oh, huge. I think so. Yeah. What we think, I think, is what we feel. There's been moments when I just felt like giving up, and I did give up. And that was all the critic in my head. But I had to acknowledge it, and I had to learn and change that. And even working with Nick, I learned a lot. Personally, I'm a perfectionist, or I can get quite overwhelmed. So we were able to break up the script, for example. So on the teleprompter, we had script that went on for a few minutes, and rather than reading out the whole thing, Nick came up with the idea. He saw that I was struggling a bit, and he's like, let's just break it down. So we broke it down, and it came out just beautifully. So sometimes it just means stepping back and just going for the right.
And the key there with when she was getting overwhelmed, it was like a 5-minute script. So it's not something easy to read it, right? So we broke it down into paragraphs. So in the teleprompter, I made big gaps in between the paragraphs that she should only read. But then I realized that she was continuing to the next paragraph, and then she'd get, so she would do one good one, and then she'd continue to the next one. Halfway through, like, she'd get out of breath. And I said, make sure, like, this is the plan. Let's stick to it.
Yeah.
because we just piece them all together, right? There's no need to go to the next one. And it came out so perfect because we stuck to it. I said, no excuses here. We're only doing one paragraph and then we stop. Even if you feel like the flow's going, we stop. And you did it so amazingly. It came out so great.
Yeah, it was interesting because I did want to keep going because I just wanted it over and done with. And I just thought if I kept going in the flow, but listening to Nick, I had to change that. I had to change that mindset or that behavior of just wanting to get things quick done, and just trusting in the method that we both agreed on. And it's
we did it in the end.
You did it in the end. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I want to ask you a question, Nick. You mentioned a teleprompter. Now, I think pretty much everybody knows what a teleprompter is. But people, when they're starting out with their business and they're just to the point where they're getting ready to grow and they're wanting to get started with video, and if they're using their phone, most of us don't have teleprompters. What would you suggest as an alternative?
So there is an app that actually Aaliyah introduced me to. It's on your phone, right? So you've got your phone, and so the camera's there, right? And then on the phone it just gives you the writing, but it's not as good because your eyes. So you want to keep your eye on the camera, yes. Right? So if your eyes are rolling down like that, it's not as great, right? But use it to get used to it. But also what the teleprompter does is it allows you to write a longer script, right? And if you're not really versed in copywriting or writing a script that takes someone through the journey, you're going to lose your customer. So the reason why I don't suggest it at the beginning is because we want to keep it short and sweet. We want the person to be able just to do it from memory, right? Because then it's engaging and it's quick and it gets the message across very well. And then as you get better at writing your script or getting to know your business, you can then invest in a teleprompter, which then you take people through the entire purchasing journey or the script journey rather. Because it's very important. It's very easy to lose someone. Like I'm sure even people listening to this recording, right? So I'm sure we've lost people's attention through this thing. Every say 3 minutes, someone will have a thought, and then we'll lose them into that thought. So we have to get them back in. So like if we do a loud clap, now they're back in, right? So it's those things that you learn that make someone really end up purchasing from you or trusting you for, because you have their entire attention span, which is
Sorry, and just coming back to just having the whole concept of having a video in the first place. Do you want to just comment on how useful or not videos are in helping to create awareness?
Oh, it's extremely useful. But I wanted to chime in with a question that you asked Aaliyah about.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because I think it all ties in. So it really depends on what your business is, right? If you're the face of your business, then it's important that you are on camera, right? So the thing that I tell business owners to really work out from the beginning is what is your product and what is the face or who is the face of your product, right? So let's say, for example, you sell plants, right? You might want to be the plant expert, so then you're the product. But if you want the plants to be the product, then you have to showcase more of the plants, right? So not necessarily you have to be on camera, right? Which makes it a lot easier if you're afraid to be on camera. But if you are the one that needs to be on camera, the advice that I can give to someone that's afraid of being on camera is that look in the mirror. That is what you look like, right? If you're not happy with the way that you look like, you need to do something about that, right? But be happy with what you look like. You walk around every single day looking like that, you are completely fine, right? The only person that doesn't see you is you. And when you're shown yourself on the phone, right, or on the computer, you're like, hold on, I don't like what's going on here, right? But everyone else loves you. Everyone else loves the way you look, the way you act, the way you speak, everything about you except you. So you need to try and remove yourself from that judgment on yourself. And I think that comes back to, understanding the fears that we have and the things that come from childhood, because I think it's super important. But yeah, that's what you look like. don't worry. You're the only one that's judging yourself that way.
I think that's really, really powerful because, I mean, when I first got started with video, first of all, you start out not liking the way your voice sounds, and then you have to get over that. And then if you don't like the way you look, you know, you can sit there and do retake after retake after retake. And, you know, you're who you are. You are who you are. So it's better off to just accept it and go with it. I think that's really powerful. You know, you're right. Everybody else sees you exactly as you are. You're the only one who doesn't because you're looking that way instead of at yourself.
Exactly. And you can, it's the best way to convey a message is to think about as if you're having a conversation with your best friend or your mom or your dad or whoever, someone that you're really comfortable with. Pretend that you're talking to them. And one little trick that I used to use at the beginning was I would put on the camera, let's say I had the camera, I'd put a little cutout picture of someone or something that I'm very comfortable with. And then you cut out the eyes or the hole for the camera. And then you're essentially talking to someone, a picture of someone. And that does wonders. It's whatever works, exactly.
Whatever works. And we're all unique.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And that's what's beautiful in business, especially when you're presenting your own products and you are the brand, to show that uniqueness. If you're quirky, be quirky. Like, people love down to earth, real people. They don't want another typical salesy sort of, you know, professional looking person. They want real people. And believe it or not, who, you know, you are, who I am, who Nick is so unique, and getting comfortable with that is it's wonders. Yeah.
I think that's, like I said, I think that's just really, really powerful concept. And I love that idea of putting a picture with the eyes cut out so that it looks like you're looking right at them. Because it does remind you, one of the things that I realized, one of my big first mistakes was, I was trying to record on my phone and I had it tipped funny.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're recording up your nose. It's actually better if I'd had that picture of somebody else there, I would have been looking at the eyes, which is really good. I like that. So those are really great tips. I think those are good for people who are wanting to just get started and get over the fear of getting started with using your phone as a way of helping other people, adding value to their lives, and also letting them know that your business exists. I think that's really great.